The last bit of demolition before I start putting the place together is to take out the upper portion of this wall. This is the kitchen wall looking out into the living room. This is load bearing, and let me show you what that means. So up here, you have the top plate of this wall. Then you have the ceiling joists coming in from here. This is in the kitchen, and there are some out there coming this direction. You can kind of see the tail end there. And so they meet at that top plate and it supports both of them. So if I were to pull this out, the one in the living room would go like that, kitchen would go like that, and the whole ceiling would kind of crumble in. So to make this happen, let me back up. I'm going to build a wall right here called a bracing wall, and that will support the kitchen. And I'm gonna build another one right here where this blue line is, up to the one on the ceiling, and that will support the living room joists, so that when I knock this wall out, gone, the joist will all be supported. Then I can come back with a beam and push it up in between the rafters and nail them off to joist hangers and keep it all supported. This will be a column, and that wall will support the other end of the beam. So let's go ahead and build the beam. For my beam, I have a doubled up 2x12. And to construct a beam, you have to nail it off at a specified nailing pattern, which in this case is 2 nails every 12 inches. But to be extra safe, I'm going to use my big old DeWalt framing nailer to put 3 3-inch nails every 12 inches, starting at the end. And I'm going to angle it just a little bit so it doesn't go all the way through, since this is 3 inches. If I go straight down and deep drive a nail, I might go into the floor. So I'm going to go at a slight angle. We're just going to take that all the way down. Well, I got one more nail into the beam, and then my gun started jamming. Turns out it has a broken spring. So while those are on order, I'll be doing this the manual way. For all of you who think I'm lazy for using a nailer, take a look at my hammer skills. That's why I do it. Plus, a little rough on this surgically repaired right shoulder. Beam's done. Also, part of the reason I went ahead and did the beam before I frame up the bracing walls is so that I can stand it up on its end and just lean it against this wall. Once I started framing the walls, if I waited, there would be no way for me to get this long of a beam into the space it needs to go. I would have to try to maneuver between two walls that are pretty close together. Wouldn't work. So it's here. I'm going to frame the bracing walls around it, lift the beam in place, then I can remove the bracing walls. bracing walls are in. So let's get a look at what we have here. So we've got a wall built across here. Those are 24 on center studs. And then we've got another one here in the kitchen. Those are roughly 24 on center. And so this top plate supports the ceiling joists in the kitchen. And this top plate supports the joists across the living room. So now this wall is no longer necessary. Here's our beam waiting to go up. So next move is going to be to take this wall out. These two bracing walls will hold the ceiling up. We're going to chalk a line and cut the ends of the joist even with where the beam will go. We will lift the beam up and place it on top of that end wall there with a triple stud under it. And it will come across here and rest on this column, which is a 6x6 cedar column. It'll be bolted in the floor somewhere around there on a base so that it doesn't move either way, and capped up here. All right, load-bearing wall coming out. Wish me luck. Okay, I've cut out the entire middle portion of the wall and I see no sagging, no drooping. Seems like the bracing walls are carrying the load. That is great. This part will need to go. Before taking out this last piece of the wall, I went ahead and shoved in a 4x4 that I had laying around to support the end of this beam. So this is another beam that supports this portion of the wall or the ceiling. So right there, this is now supported straight down to the ground. So I can take all of that out without any worry of it falling in. So here's the setup. Channels cut through all the ceiling joists where the beam is going to slide right into that. Set on that 4x4 right there at the top, and then on top of this cedar post. There it is. The beam is set on top of that post, cedar post. Fit like a glove in between each of these ceiling joists and resting on that one. Now joist hangers go in. So the joist hangers look like this. They will push against the beam, and then the joist will sit here, and they'll be attached with these structural screws. These can carry a load just like a structural nail would. They're just easier to put in tight spaces. The moment you've all been waiting for. Let's go ahead and open the whole place up. Huh. Well, guess I'll have to go unscrew the walls myself. It's wide open. Took out the bracing walls. Nothing moved at all. Everything is holding well. We can now stand in the kitchen, look out at the living room. Very cool. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'll be doing videos on the entire renovation process for this home. Thanks for watching.